Hello, everyone. Welcome to our bonus review show for the week. My name, as always, is Rob, or IMOC if you're feeling frisky, or online.
Online. I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean,
That probably
maybe if
sounds
we
better.
maybe if we get to know each other a little bit, but I don't want to
Yeah.
encroach on your marriage.
No. No, no, I appreciate that. Ange would neither appreciate me cheating nor saying IMOC is my safe word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, actually, I don't even think I know the origin of why you chose IMOC as your
Yeah.
username.
It's nothing special.
Okay.
This is back in grade nine, um, high school, first period art class.
Hmm.
The DS was fairly new.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like the original DS.
Oh my God.
And you had to make a profile on it. So I made a profile, said pick a username. Like, well,
Hmm.
shit, I've never had to make a username before. So what am I gonna pick? And I was like, I can't think of shit, and I gotta start class. Like, okay, you know what? I always say when people say how I'm doing, I'm like, I'm okay. So I'd like, okay, I am okay. The letters.
Oh
Literally,
man.
literally just I am okay.
I never would have put that together.
And then I showed it to the guy sitting next to me because he has to see the DS. They
Mhm.
saw the name. He was like, IMOC? What's IMOC? I'm like, huh. It's I am
Wait,
okay, but I like
okay.
IMOC.
I'm gonna say if slash when you write a Green Lantern story, because I'm counting on it, I
Okay.
think you should find some kind of excuse to either have a lantern or an alien that's named IMOC as a tribute to that.
Buddy, I'm just doing
Yes.
it. It
Like I
helps
don't
that
know,
like
it can be like
you
Lantern like 2280 or something, and it'll be like,
yeah,
yeah, Lantern IMOC.
yeah. And I'll somehow like the planet somehow named after the DS.
Yes. Oh my God.
That's the origins of
That
the
would be
name.
so perfect.
Just
Oh, wait, no. It would be so much better if it was like Lantern IMOC Sector 2005, because I think that's when the DS came out, if I remember correctly.
yeah. Yeah, because that's 2000, maybe 2004. Because I was
Mm,
grade nine, that would have been second semester, so that would have been around 2005. Yeah.
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 I
I'm
don't want to I
old.
don't want to I don't want to go into further detail because like it's going to show the age difference between the two of us. But suffice it to
Yeah.
say, my
What
my
grade
brother
were
was.
you in
Oh my
2005?
God. My brother also had the DS, and I think he had just started first grade. So
Holy
I'm sorry.
holy shit. Oh, I love it. My age is starting to show. I've actually been trying to grow my like I'm on my cycle now where like I'm trying
Mhm.
to grow my hair out in the
Oh,
hopes that maybe it will grow and then it gets to a certain length. Like I'm on like week 4 of not shaving my head and I'm like, this
mhm.
looks ridiculous. What
I
am
was
I
gonna
doing?
say it does look a little. I couldn't tell because it's kind of obscured by the headphones, but
Yeah, like I actually have hair
yeah,
on the side, but
mhm.
nothing on top. So
Yeah.
it's not I need to just like I need to get rid of it. I'm thinking, can I pull a
Oh,
comb over? No, I cannot pull off a comb over.
it's a
Yeah,
confidence thing. I
it
think I
is.
think I think you could do it. I believe.
Yeah. Now I was gonna say you've seen my screen name. Can coincidentally you say a lantern named
Mhm.
IMOC. And like my full screen name nowadays, because once usernames started needing numbers,
Mhm.
I was like, okay, IMOC 999. Because like you'd go like I'm okay, we need a number. Okay, IMOC one taken, IMOC
Yeah.
two taken, IMOC three taken. Okay, fuck it, I'm jumping right to the end,
Oh my
999.
God.
And then one time so I was like taken. Fuck, okay, 9999, 9999. Beat that.
There's no
And then
way.
no way. And to this day, nobody's had that one. But I was like, why am I using this? Because there's so
Mhm.
many, like there's almost like 10,000 numbers in between. Why don't I do 2814? And that's
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
on
I'm
2814.
I'm sure that's just a random number that came from nowhere.
Yeah, and to this day, nobody's ever used it. So yeah. So like that's like the name is already rooted in lantern mythology.
Mhm. Man.
So We're
It's
sold.
perfect.
We're on the boat.
Well, I shall be expecting it within the next decade. I hope to see it.
Okay. That optimistic. I'll say 15 years maybe, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lantern 2280 IMOC from the planet Descendo.
Nintendia. Nintendia. Could you
Yeah.
get away with
Nintendia.
that?
Uh, that might be a bit of a stretch.
Might be a little like a little too on the nose.
Ooh, they're twin planets because DS was dual
Oh,
screen. They're
yes.
twin
That's good.
planets.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, I'd have to come up with a name.
You gotta find a way to like really tie it into the DS gimmick because I know like from what I haven't played the DS in years, but it was like the top screen and the bottom screen would usually have different aspects to them. You gotta find a way to like, I don't know, maybe both planets have
I
different
I have an
species
idea.
or something.
I have an idea. So they're twin planets, they orbit the
Mhm.
same sun, and they're basically in the same orbit as each other. Like they're right next to each other. It's a
Yeah.
weird almost cohabitation thing,
Mhm.
but there's life only on one of the planets. And as much as they revolve around their sun, they revolve around each other too. It's like
Mhm.
like a whirligig almost.
Yeah.
Um, but what the inhabitants do is when they want to make a change on their planets, they go to the uninhabited one
Mhm.
and build it there first and see if it works. And if that planet takes it,
Oh, that's
then they can
cool.
go back and do it on their other planet.
Mhm.
The dual screen. That's, you got one is the touch screen, which interacts the, you know.
See, you've been much more clever about this than I was. I'm like, I just have my half baked, like, make them different somehow. I think you need
Honestly,
to bring this about.
that's what I love so much about space age
Mhm.
stories and like intergalactic stories. You can just go fucking buck wild
Yeah, literally do
with
whatever you
ideas,
want. Yeah.
whatever. Like you can't like have this happen on Earth, but well, actually that can't happen because the atmosphere on Earth would be
Oh
destroyed. Well,
God.
okay, well that this isn't Earth. This is some pair of planets 50 million light years away
Mm.
that you will never fucking see or interact with.
And then you're
So
gonna have
suck
someone
on
else
that.
who's like, well, in the Marvel universe, there's the counter Earth, which is used by, oh God, why am I forgetting his name?
The ultra humanite.
That
No,
one.
what
And you'll be like,
the fuck is his name? Oh my
oh my
god.
God, I know, why am I blanking? It was literally just
He was
in
in GOTG
Guardians.
3, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Oh my god.
Oh, the High Evolutionary. Oh
High
my God.
evolutionary
It
shit.
just, you know what the worst part is? I could remember his alias, like his real name, but I couldn't remember his
Yeah,
like
he's a
his
Richards, isn't he?
yeah. No, he's a
Yeah.
Herbert Wyndham, but I couldn't
Oh, okay.
remember that he was the High Evolutionary. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, well, that's the Marvel universe. This is DC. So
Uh,
go fuck yourself.
yeah. I
But
haven't
then
gotten to
also
do
like Counter Earth was just it was on the opposite side of okay, actually the Counter Earth is on the opposite side of the sun from our Earth, so they will never interact with each other.
oh well, whatever.
That's why you never see the Counter Earth.
I haven't gotten to do too many actuallys lately, so I'm feeling like I'm finally moving away from
Uh,
my doomed prophecy of becoming a comic book guy.
I have been watching a lot of actually, so I am ready.
Really?
I'm ready for them.
No.
It's a fun game show. If you've never watched it,
No,
like
never
it's
actually.
never. It's such a fun
No.
show.
Yeah. I feel like I've seen like trailers or something for it, but I've never actually sat down and watched an episode.
They have a handful of episodes for free on YouTube.
Mhm.
And then if you want to get like the full 8 seasons, subscribe to Dropout. And they're
Yeah.
making a new season currently. So
Oh, cool.
yeah. But you get the gist of the show though,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still so weird calling it dropout, like as if I'm not always going to call it college humor.
Yeah. My
Okay.
favorite bits though in the game show is like when somebody gets the answer,
Mhm.
but they don't say actually. And then Mike Trapp is like,
It's like, come on.
sorry.
You know what you're here for, but no,
Yeah.
okay. We're gonna focus. We're gonna get
Yes.
through these books.
Yes. But
We need
first,
to. But first,
these five other things.
okay.
No, we have a bit of news that came across my desk during the main show, during
Yes.
our free show. A oh shit, what was it? Omnibus?
Yes.
Yes, it was an omnibus. I didn't know was happening. Unless it was in solicits recently and I just forgot about it. James Tynion's Justice League Dark Rebirth is getting an omnibus. Comes out April 16th. I
Nice.
don't remember seeing this, unless that was one of the many omnibus that we saw a couple of months ago in solicits, because there was like 6 or 7 announced at the same time.
Yeah, I feel like I might have seen it, but I kind of forgot about it because there's
Yeah,
this guy on YouTube who usually does the coverage of a lot of the DC solicits for like hardcover collections and omnibuy,
yeah.
omnibuses, whatever you want to call it.
Omnibuses.
Um, but yeah, no, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I can't see what it's actually going to collect. Does it say on Amazon? Like what issues?
Shit, I was looking and I don't remember. 1 second, let me pull it up. Let's see if I just go right back how I did it before. If it'll pop up. Yeah, there it is. Oh shit, no, it doesn't. It doesn't say,
Hmm,
unfortunately.
dang.
At least not yet. Yeah. Um,
Because I'm wondering if it's going to collect the arc that he co-wrote with Rom V before Rom V took over the title, or if it's just gonna be like up to the Witching War or whatever it was, that final arc.
maybe. I don't know. We'll
Hmm,
see.
cool.
It certainly could be interesting.
Yeah.
And I guess it was today because I haven't seen it yet. Trailer for the animated feature Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths is
Oh.
released. Yeah, I only just saw that while we were recording last episode, so I haven't
Hmm,
watched it yet. But there is some very interesting people in some screenshots I'm seeing, some
hmm.
interesting characters. So including oh my god, I can't remember. I think it's Atlas with a green and gold costume.
Uh,
This guy. I don't know
I can't. Yeah, I can't
how
really
well that's
see.
coming out. Okay, I'll share
Is that
the article
because that
on
might also
Discord.
be Amazing Man from All
Oh,
Star
maybe
Squadron.
maybe it's Amazing Man. Yeah,
Which would make sense because I know they did the uh JSA movie um recently
no,
with
Atlas
Flash.
is in Marvel, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, there is an Atlas in DC.
There is. I
But
just remember a guy with a giant A on his chest, but I think it's a blue
yeah.
costume.
Yeah, I think well, you said green and yellow with an A on his
Yeah,
chest. That's I think that's Amazing Man.
that's Amazing
Um
Man. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. Sorry, I was also fucking with the wrong number today, and I just got a very interesting text back.
Oh no. Is it a bot or just some rando?
I honestly think it is a bot, but like it
Okay.
started with "Good morning, Clay. Sarah here. We can provide a more in-depth appraisal of your property. Have you had any renovations done recently?" And like that
Yeah.
sounds like a bot. I'm just looking at the area code. The area code is actually mine.
Mm,
Well, shit, this might just be a wrong number.
yeah. It's hard to tell
Oh,
sometimes.
well, crap. They're still texting me.
Yeah.
That's not good because this is about somebody trying to sell his property.
Mhm.
Uh-oh. I should fix that. Anyway, yeah, so that's the news I have. Yeah, I think that was the last little bit that came across my desk.
Sweet.
All right. So yeah, we'll jump into our books. We got 4 books to
Yes.
cover for the bonus show. You want to start us off with Titans #5?
My pleasure. After 14 minutes of buildup, we finally get
Yeah.
oh man, we are just we are unprepared. But yes, this is Titans #5, written by Tom Taylor with art from Nicholas Scott, colors from Annette Kwok, and letters from Wes Abbott, our finale to the Out of the Shadows introductory arc. And this issue kicks off with the sort of remainder of the Titans, with the exception of Nightwing and Flash, taking down the rest of Demolition Team very easily, almost comically easily, because they're Demolition Team and they're up against these super powerful metahumans. But as Beast Boy is sort of lecturing them and getting angrier and angrier, he is increasing in size to the point where he's almost at monstrous proportions. I think based on their reactions, both Raven and Donna are just a little. I'm so distracted. What is that? Is that the thing?
That's the thing, yeah.
Oh, okay. I just couldn't tell.
That's
I thought that
the
was
old
like a
Marvel Legends figure.
warped robot for a second.
No, this is closer to a warped robot.
There we. Oh my god, that
Yeah.
is such a gorgeous looking Doom, dude.
Look. If I can get it.
Oh,
Mask
wait.
removes.
Does it have like his messed up face? I was gonna cover my
It's
eyes.
he's got a scar on his right cheek, and that's it. But for the most
Oh,
part, he actually looks
dang.
not bad.
This
Yeah,
must be post Secret Wars.
it is. I
Yeah.
think it's the idea there.
Mhm.
These figures were from like 2003, so
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is a great looking Doom.
it was actually really cool, dude.
What were we talking about? Oh, right. Titans.
Comics.
Oh my god. We're a mess. Okay,
Josh is
so
gonna get this recording. He's
he's
gonna
like,
edit it and be like, dudes,
like
what
you
the
guys,
fuck?
you guys are just
I'm never taking a
in
week off again.
chaos. Yeah, like this is unacceptable. I can't do this again. Okay, back to the Titans. So
Yes.
we cut over to the trophy room where Wally is being stashed away so that he does not end up dead. And as Dick is basically just going to make his way back, and having dropped off Wally with Linda there, they find out that Linda is insane, or at the very least, that Linda is doing something very out of character as she attempts to detonate a weapon of mass destruction, particularly this Quardian doomsday bomb, which would pretty much annihilate them in an instant. But before we can get any further development on that, we cut over to New York City, where the Titans have basically burst into the apartment of none other than Mr. Levi Kamei, who we haven't seen since
Ooh.
Dark Crisis.
Yeah.
And the Titans are here to enlist. Whoa, the Titans are here to enlist him with some recovery aid in Borneo, just to kind of help them, replant and reforest and everything. And Levi, as the Swamp Thing, is willing to help out and recognizes that things are getting kind of worse. There's a cool little moment with him and Starfire, where her kind of presence activates a interesting part of his fauna. But we cut back to the Mars base where Linda is in like full drone mode, just totally acting out of her senses. But when Wally attempts to question her, she like spits out a strange parasitic creature of her mouth. Thankfully, Wally, with his super speed, is able to dodge it, and Nightwing is able to zap it with one of his Eskrima sticks. But ultimately, we find out that Linda had been possessed by Tempest, who had kind of infected her with whatever this strange alien creature was, and that alien creature is almost certainly going to be tied back to the meteorite that they found at the Church of Eternity base. We cut over to Borneo, where Swamp Thing has helped a little bit with the replanting method, with some aid from the Titans, particularly Starfire acting as their solar battery, essentially, but Beast Boy acting as the sort of wildlife that's going to be repollinating and bringing life back into the forest. Although, unfortunately, at the cost of of some of his own parts of his soul, I guess, because he ends up splitting into multiple different types of bugs to just try and again repollinate everything and bring life back to the forest, but at the cost of putting himself in harm's way, and spreading himself so thin that he really puts his kind of soul at risk, if that makes sense. But we cut over to about a day later where their reforesting efforts have been successful, and the Titans make quite an incredible offer to the Swamp Thing, basically saying, hey, join the Titans. And naturally, as the avatar of the green, he has a bit more important responsibilities, but Nightwing and Starfire basically say, like, hey, it would be, in a reserve capacity, but we just feel like you should be on our team in some way, or shape or form. And Levi very thankfully accepts, just seeing the kind of value and potential of joining the Titans. But we cut over to the Church of Eternity base, specifically with Brother Eternity and Tempest, talking about how a lot of their plans have been foiled now and they really need to start moving fast. And that is when we discover that this Brother Eternity is not at all who he is cracked up to be, as he wipes a little bit of the paint off of his face, and we discover that he is in fact Tamaranian. Okay, so I clowned on the last issue quite a bit, and I admit it was I didn't enjoy it all that much, or at the very least, I was kind of like, whatever. But I don't know if I was just in a really good mood, or this issue was just good. But I really enjoyed this one actually. I would say might even be one of my favorites in the series so far. Like I feel like now we're really getting towards progression, which I like. And some pretty important developments in this series. We get like the first kind of indications that, Beast Boy is heading in possibly a bit of a darker direction, which we already know is going to happen with Beast World, but here we finally are moving towards that storyline. But we're also getting, more development with the team, especially now that Swamp Thing is going to be acting in a reserve capacity. And quite frankly, if the Titans are expanding their ranks, I think we all know who's going to be joining soon. Anyone who read Adventures of Superman pretty much knows who may be on the Titans next. But finally, I think the thing that really was like got me like sit up straight and be like, okay, now I'm invested, was sort of the reveal at the end where, we find out that this Brother Eternity is not in fact some reformed Brother Blood, but is actually some Tamaranian with a secret agenda that we don't even know about. And I mean, I was kind of interested in the angle of like a reformed Church of Blood, but we've kind of seen something like that before. So I was like, whatever. It was interesting, but I wasn't like totally sold on it yet. But I feel like this pivot really got me at least interested to see where it goes. And I have my own theories as to who this mysterious Tamaranian might be, but I'll be interested to discuss that further. But yeah, no, I really dug this one actually. And as always, the art from Nicholas Scott is incredible. So I gave this an 8.5 out of 10. I came away pretty excited. I'm actually looking forward to Beast World a little bit, whereas I was kind of moaning before.
That's good. I did not piece together at all that was a Tamaranian.
Yeah, he's got the green eyes, got the orange skin.
Yeah. I was like, now, like, that's what I was like, oh, like when you said it, like, okay, that makes a lot more sense now. Just like, this is a new look for Brother Blood. Like, why does he have red skin? It's supposed to be blood. Why is his eyes green? I'm like, I'm just gonna go with it. They'll explain next issue. I'm like, oh, wait, no, Tamaranian. Okay. So it's not necessarily actually Brother Blood. So that begs the question, where is Brother Blood?
Where is he? And who is this guy? I have my theory, but I will have to wait and see.
Yeah. When you said Red Adventures of Superman, you'll know who the next member for the Titans would be. Like, what? I don't get it.
Do you remember the ending of Adventures of Superman #6?
Oh,
I know it's been a
the
while ago.
John Kent
Yes.
stories. Yeah. Okay.
No,
I thought you were talking about Adventures of Superman from like the 90s.
Oh, no. I mean, also a very fun series, but like,
yeah,
no, I meant the most recent one.
I forgot that John Kent's story was called Adventures of Superman.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, no, that's definitely a possibility. I mean, it's
I could be wrong,
almost
but
been telegraphed.
I feel like it's pretty obvious with everything he's been setting up with the character that if he wants to keep writing John, he's definitely going to have him join the Titans.
Yeah, that would make sense. I will second that the art is fantastic. Nicholas Scott is amazing. The story in this issue was a lot more interesting than previous issues, especially the surprise appearance of Levi Kamei.
Yeah.
Did not expect that at all, and now he's also a part-time Titan. Like that's even more unexpected. Like that's
Yeah.
really fucking cool.
Which at first I was like, maybe this is a little hokey because like to go from a story like The Swamp Thing, which was so beautiful and anthemic, even if I didn't love the ending, to like, oh, now Levi's running around with the Teen Titans. To paraphrase a quote from Batman and Robin, the Morrison run. But I don't know. I think
Yeah.
like as long as we can have like more appearances of Levi and have him doing stuff, I'm fine with it. Like just to
Yeah.
use that character because I like that character. And I think his role here works.
I mean, even the fact that he's part-time and how they describe it, it's more like it's benefiting all parties if he joins up every so often, where he can get the camaraderie and not feeling so alone
Yeah.
and being around people who have powers, being so new to the superhero world.
Mhm.
But at the same time, the Titans can have his power set added to them so they can achieve Beast Boy's dream of replanting forestry and help each other, almost a symbiotic nature.
Yeah.
Um, so I wouldn't expect to see him like going up against Deathstroke next month
Yeah.
or anything, right? Like he's not going to be a person that they call upon for every single mission, but like the
Mhm.
the missions where he's specific, I could see that happening. So it'd be interesting to say the least.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I've been waiting to see if they're going to expand the Titans roster to begin with. Like it's already a pretty stacked roster.
I'm just like crossing my fingers that Arsenal is next. I need more of my boy Roy. I know he's in Green
Yes.
Arrow right now, but like, come on.
I'm surprised he isn't already on the team.
Well, he's busy. He's running around with Dinah trying to find Ollie. But once they're done with that and he's back, he can go hang out with the Titans again.
Yeah.
I
That would
just
be very cool.
I want like a scene where, like he comes back and finds the Titans have reformed again. He's like, you guys didn't even call me? What the fuck? Like,
or, or
seriously?
or better yet, he does that and then outsteps Leanne
Yeah.
from behind him, and you're like,
You have a
guess who I
kid?
found?
Oh my God. Or more like your
Yeah,
kid is alive.
guys, remember when you said you'd help me find her and then you
Yeah.
didn't?
Yeah.
And I did it myself.
It's
Yeah, that would be awesome.
mhm.
But as for this issue though, yeah, so a lot more stuff is making sense to me now.
Yeah.
Um, stuff with Linda, she was so close to going like full, and coincidentally I bring it up, full Eclipso with
Yeah.
Jean Loring, and
Mhm.
she was also in this fucking issue.
Yeah.
uh which that was a bit of a surprise, but that was also interesting to see like her mental dynamic now. She's like she thinks Ray is just everywhere, just coming
Yeah.
to see her, and no,
Well,
honey, he divorced your ass a long time ago.
we'll get into that when we talk about Justice Society of America. But yeah, that was like whoa, appearance out of nowhere.
Oh shit, my bad. I thought that was in this for some reason.
Oh no. Could you imagine if Gene Lauren just showed up out of nowhere, it's a random
Yeah.
scene in a prison? Um, yeah, that would
I
be
know.
funny.
I remember thinking it was kind of random to begin with. I completely forgot that in my mind, like now I remember it was Dr. Midnight talking to her, but like
Mhm.
in my mind I was thinking it was Raven for some reason. My mind completely fabricated some nonsense
Oh
of
man.
Gene Loring in Titans, and for some reason they were like talking to Gene Loring. Like I
Well, I mean,
yeah.
the Atom was a Titan for a brief little run in
Yeah.
the 90s, so I mean, he does
It,
have a Titans connection.
yeah. But so many people do, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still blows my mind that Kyle has a Titans connection.
Yeah, Kyle has had like a couple Titans connections. It's actually weird.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like they've never really had him for a good, proper long run on the Titans. It's
No.
usually just like brief little arcs right before the end. Like even recently with the Rebirth one, but when he was in the Titans in the 90s, it was like basically 20 issues before the series, ended. Um,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I think it's just because like they pulled him into the JLA, and then after that he was just like Justice League, and they couldn't really make that connection
Yeah.
to being the Titans anymore.
I think they should bring Natasha back though.
Yeah, no, that would be cool.
Have Steel. She was cool.
Mhm.
Anyway, yeah, I think I'll sound again 8.5 out of 10.
Nice.
This issue was pretty solid.
Mhm.
All right. Got some wet my whistle a little bit. We are moving on to Batman Superman World's Finest number 21. We're getting dangerously close to number 22, which,
Cool.
considering we're on Earth 22, I suspect next issue is going to be pretty big. But that's just numerology for you. So this is number 21, written by Mark Waid with art from Dan Mora, colors from Tamara Bonvillain, letters from Steve Wands, and an amazing cover from Dan Mora, because the man does no wrong. And God, every time I look at this cover, I just have to stop and stare at it. Even just down to
It's
the colors is, oh my God, the lighting is so fucking good. Okay, so picking up where we left off last issue, Boy Thunder, now going by Thunderman because he's been aged up like John Kent. Clark just can't catch a break with sidekicks, can he?
It really is unfortunate. It just,
Yeah.
I don't know. Seems to have bad luck with that.
Yeah. Time is not his friend.
No.
Just wait for the next 100 years, Clark, and see how old you are when everybody you loved is dead and gone.
Grim, man.
I mean, let's like DC 1 million was a thing and he was still alive.
Yeah. Well, I guess he was able to bring back a version of Lois, so he won't be completely alone.
Yeah.
It's such a weird
Oh,
story.
shit, that just reminded me. Adventures of Superman. They never really like wrapped up what happened with Red Tornado Lois
No. She was
and
just,
Val Zod.
yeah, they just kind of disappeared.
Yeah, they just left them on Earth 3.
Yeah. Because the series ran out of time.
Shit. No, I love those characters, man. I'm collecting Earth 2 books.
I think
Don't
you were
do
probably
this to me, Tom.
the biggest Earth 2 fan in existence. I've not
Possibly.
met anyone else who likes that as much as you.
Like, it's the only reason I enjoyed Conversions, is because I needed to read it to know what's happening in Earth 2.
Did you read was it World's End?
Yes.
I think I tried and I don't know. I don't
I
know how far I got.
plowed. I pushed my way through every single issue of Earth 2. I'm like, no, I've come this far. I don't care if it's dumb and they've already done this. I'm reading it.
Also, wait, remind me again, was that a spin-off of Future's End or
So
Convergence?
World's End it was oddly juxtaposed next to Future's End.
Yeah.
So it had very similar stuff.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to, yeah, so World's End was happening around the same time as Future's End,
Yeah.
which was really weird. And then World's End led into Convergence.
Right, yeah.
And then Convergence happened and they came back and it was Earth 2 Society.
Mhm.
Because they had to find a new world.
Mhm.
If I remember right. I might be kind of muddled on the order.
I will take your word for it because I don't know.
Yeah. The point is, like, they're still around and they're on a second Earth. Because Tom Taylor rehashes old ideas. He did the same thing in DC, so I'm like, I know what you're doing, Mr. Taylor.
Yeah.
Anyway. Right. Just one thing I did forget about with Tom Taylor though in Nightwing. In the background of one of the images in the Pirate City is, and I forget the character's name, is one of the characters from his Suicide Squad run.
Oh, I'll have to look it up. Do you remember what the character looked like?
Had like the toque looking hat that I think had like the ears. I think she was the fist fighter.
Oh,
and she had like the yellow jumpsuit without the sleeves.
Oh, it's like something. I mean, it's something with a cat name. I know that, but I can't remember.
Yeah, but you know who I'm talking about. She was
I know who you're talking
there.
about.
She was just like in the background of one of the panels. She didn't say anything. She didn't even interact with Dick or anything. But she was in this pirate city. I'm like, huh, okay. That was interesting. Okay, now I promise I will start this issue. Right, so we pick up where we left off on Earth 22. Thunderman is attacking Superman and screaming about how Superman and Batman left him on different Earth by himself, and how they are evil and just like they have no idea what they're in store for in this world. Then we cut over to nearby in Metropolis. Ace reporter Clark Kent is doing an interview, gaining info on these new nap booths. Oh, sleep pods. They're really weird, but that's besides the point. He uses it to takes a little test run of the sleep pod, but uses that as a distraction to zoom off a Superman because he hears the battle nearby. And in the Batcave, Bruce is also getting news of the battle, so he gets on his experimental new jet armor, the experimental flight suit,
Mhm.
and the pair take off towards the battle. Clark gets a hold of himself, and or I guess Superman gets a hold of himself from Thunderman's attack and gets the upper hand, sending them flying far away from population. But just then is when the Superman of this world shows up and decks him right in the schnoz. And they have a little fight while Batman, back at the fight scene, is trying to figure some stuff out and use his detective stuff and get a hold of Superman to figure out what's going on because something doesn't feel right. But that's when the Batman of this world shows up and attacks him, and they have a pretty even fight because, as Batman knows, if he's going to fight Batman, it's they know each other's moves. There's no winning.
Right.
Superman and Superman have a big fight while David as Thunderman is screaming about how the younger Superman is evil and a murderer and is trying to kill people. So young Clark, our Superman, flies off, and the old Superman follows him into a lead mine, and our Superman uses his uses a supersonic whistle to cave in the lead mine, essentially trapping the older Superman for the time being. But Thunderman has also escaped as Superman tries to get a hold of Batman. Um, and as we say, it's an even fight until this world's Dick Grayson shows up as, I'm assuming, Nightwing, possibly still Robin, but is very Batman Forever inspired costume. Um, or Batman and Robin the movie, Joel Schumacher inspired costume. Looks really cool though. I like it.
I'm
Um,
surprised he wasn't Red Robin though, but maybe
yeah,
I
but
I know there
Red
was like
Robin was Red Robin not Tim Drake in Kingdom Come? Or
no,
was it
it
was
was
Dick
Dick
Grayson?
Grayson.
Oh,
But
okay.
I know there was like they might have continued elements of his story in Kingdom or not Kingdom Come, The Kingdom, which was like the follow-up series to that, but I don't really
Yeah.
know all that much about that.
I mean the costume is black and red, so you could probably
Okay.
still, like, if he's not going by Nightwing and he's still going
Yeah.
to probably still Red Robin, and then the costume later on is like the symbol's pretty close to it too.
Mhm.
To the Red Robin symbol from Kingdom Come.
Mhm.
Um right, so now the dynamic duo are taking on our Batman and almost winning until our Batman is able to get the upper hand thanks to some technology that he found. Chains them up using some kind of light based chains. And then Thunderman arrives there, but then Superman saves Batman. They fly off to the Kent farm because this is where Superman goes to relax. Finds his parents have died on this earth. Gets really pissed off, punches a tree to shatters. And then Batman tries to calm him down. That's when Clark uses his X-ray vision, not X-rays, no, telescopic vision. He's got too many fucking visions, man. To see what's going on in Metropolis. That Superman has arrived and saved that Batman and Robin, and Thunderman is there as well. And finds out that Thunderman lied to this dynamic duo from the beginning. How he's saying that David's parents came to the dynamic duo for help from an accident that gave him powers, and that they should have always trusted each other. But that's when we find out that David is lying because Yeah, then none of that fucking happened. Then a tornado hits in the city, and we find none other than Gog, the massive god-like being. That I'll be honest, I gotta refresh my memory on the history of Gog because I'm getting my wires crossed between Kingdom Come and Justice Society of America.
That's what I was
Uh,
thinking of.
yeah,
But I haven't read that story in quite a
yeah.
while. So
Like I remember this GOG from Jeff Johns JSA,
mhm.
but I honestly it's been so long since I've read Kingdom Come. I don't remember if this GOG was in Kingdom Come.
Well, they don't really mention him. I mean, even with um uh the Magog character in
Yeah,
Kingdom Come. From my memory, again, I think a lot of that stuff came in the sequel series, The Kingdom, and then later, Jeff used it in the Thy Kingdom Come story arc in Justice Society of America.
right.
But yeah, the character of Gog, the sort of like godlike being that Magog swears fealty to, I also gotta refresh my memory on that.
Hmm. Yeah, I gotta go back and look at some stuff. Maybe we can revisit it
That would be
at the same
nice.
time and like compare notes with each other.
Yeah.
Um, Great. So Gog arrives and everybody takes a bow, and our Superman gets a little surprised. But then the Justice Brigade of this Earth shows up through a portal from Dr. Fate to attack Batman and Superman all at once, and it is quite the host of heroes. Many people will recognize, including a few with some brand new costumes, and some I just don't know who they are at all. But the most interesting is Peacemaker for me. Like that's a really weird Peacemaker suit. But also Brandon, like there's a Robin here as well.
Yeah.
If you didn't see it,
No, there was a Robin. There's like a Kid Flash who could be
yeah.
Wally or could be Bart. This looks like it's a mix of, I guess, I don't know, like Bronze Age characters. I'm not really sure because
I
there
think
looks,
it's just all sorts of frickin' people.
yeah, well, because there's also a character like towards the lower left, like right below Wonder Woman and Aquaman, who looks like, you know, Hex 3000 from that terrible Jonah Hex series where he's in the future that no one talks about.
I didn't
Um,
even know that was a thing. I was just like,
yeah,
okay, this is a cyborg Jonah Hex. That's dope.
no, it was just, yeah, it was like weird. I don't know if that's what it is, but it looks like that. I think
Yeah.
it could be, but no, I think my favorite here has to be the Blue Beetle suit. I'm just like, how has no one ever thought to give him wings? I know
Oh
it's a
shit,
little
yeah, that's
much,
Ted with
but
wings.
like it
Wow.
looks, I guess I never thought about that. I was like, it looks so cool. To me
Yeah.
at least.
Oh, I dig it.
I can't believe no one's ever thought of that.
Also, there's like three bat people here, and I can't place all of them. One of
Yeah,
them, the one with the red and black between Wonder Woman and Aquaman, I would assume
Batwoman
like
probably.
you'd think Kate Kane, but like the
Mhm.
costume is also reminiscent of Dick Grayson, so I was gonna say Barbara.
It could be, yeah. I guess I was thinking more Kate Kane because it looks like her face is kind of has that
Yeah,
pale white look that she usually has.
yeah. And then there's some yellow one up and near the top right to the left of Hawkwoman, and then a guy in like all black that almost looks like the Batman Beyond suit between Peacemaker and the Atom.
Yeah, I have no
Yeah, I don't
idea.
know who the fuck they could be. And is that supposed to be Cheetah or the like above the Atom next to
Light,
Plastic
that's the
Man?
thing. I can't even tell because it doesn't look like
Like
Cheetah with her fur or whatever. It looks like a
no.
suit.
Like what was Um, the alter ego that Artemis used, at least in the Young Justice
Tigress.
cartoon, it was
Yeah.
Tigress. Yeah, this
Mm.
might be Tigress.
Could be, yeah.
Judo Master looks fucking dope.
Oh yeah. And also that funky ass, I think that's Captain Atom to the left of Black Canary. But I'm not
Uh,
entirely sure. But it looks like the
oh,
Captain
I see.
Atom,
Maybe.
yeah, it looks like the Captain Atom design from Armageddon, I think it is.
Yeah. Starman looks the same as always.
Of course.
And Etrigan. Yeah, and there's some weird looking guy without a head next to Judo Master with fire. I don't know who the fuck that could be. It
No clue.
reminds me of a Digimon. Miramyotismon, I think. No, not Miramyotismon.
I
Something
love how
Miramon.
Hal Jordan just like has no redesign. It's just his classic Silver Age suit.
Yeah,
Like I'm too good for this shit.
yeah.
You can't redesign perfection.
And even Donna's got like an old suit she used to use.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
anyway,
there's some interesting shit here,
yeah.
yeah.
What did you think of this issue?
Oh yeah. I was too busy like eyeing up oh fuck, Metamorpho's there too? Damn. All right, that's enough of that. I I pretty much enjoyed it. I'm gonna be honest. Like it's Dan
Mm.
Mora. The art's fantastic. Always write home about Dan Mora. The story is I honestly I meant to before we started this arc, but I really need to revisit Kingdom Come and refresh myself on that story to really like appreciate what Mark Waid is trying to do here and really get
Yeah,
a
I had
feel for
to
what it possibly could be.
while you were giving the summary, I had to run and grab my copies of Kingdom Come just so I could flick through it again and try and remind myself.
Yeah.
That's why I think that's probably Captain Adam because like even on this cover here, you've got
Oh yeah,
that
that's the
suit.
costume right there.
But yeah, I should also give this one another read because I was kind of I don't know. I think I read it and like it didn't leave a sour taste in my mouth, but I felt like it didn't really it didn't really hit me as deeply as it has other people.
Yeah, like we were also like well past by the time we read it, we were past like when it would make such a huge impact. Like
Yeah.
it came out what 95 and at that
Yeah.
point we'd had
This
some
is
stories deconstructing superheroes, but this was deconstructing the same superheroes.
yeah. Well, I mean it's also just like very of its time. It sounds like such a critic thing to say.
Ugh.
I want to sew my mouth shut after that, but I think this is an example of a book that is very much of its time where it's like it's clearly a commentary on the 90s trend of superheroes, hence the
Yeah.
terrible designs of some of these superheroes that look like they're right out of Youngblood.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think Alex Ross in designing Magog was just like, let me just find like the worst, ugliest, like busy image design I can think of, and I'll try and basically do that. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that was kind of part of why the series was like, I don't know, it felt a little dated maybe because like that I think because this point has been made so many times of like, you know, the younger generation, oh, they can be a little bit reckless, but the older generation will try and step up. But at the end of the day, we're all working together. Like I think that point has been made so many times since that it's kind of
Right.
hard for me to read it with like, you know, unbiased or uninfluenced eyes to the point where I can really appreciate the book for what it was trying to do back then.
Yeah. And like since it came out, not only was I think the first full book Alex Ross ever did,
Mhm.
but since that came out, like we've had so many like the reproductions, reinterpretations, reduxes, other stories of the same caliber, just deconstructing the superhero world,
Yeah.
future manifestations where like the heroes are either fighting each other or the world's falling apart. Like we've had so
Mhm.
many different versions of it since then in the past 30 years that even though Kingdom Come was the first, it's also somewhat lost all meaning.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's definitely not going to hold up the same now just because it's been done to death, but it will still hold a place in people's hearts for being not only the first, but also uh Alex fucking Ross.
Yeah. Which I think that for me is like that's the crux of the series. It's the art. It's
Yeah.
like all the hype that you've heard is true. Honestly, it doesn't even do it justice because there are some panels here that are like I
Yeah.
still think about there's this one when you reread it, you'll see, but there's this one in the first issue that is like still so vivid in my mind of Superman in the Fortress of Solitude, and he's got like the beard and everything, the white beard.
Yeah.
It's like it's perfection. It
Yeah.
is perfection.
I gotta go back and visit it just to really like understand what's happening here and give like a proper opinion because as it is right now, I'm reading the story for what we have, and
Yeah.
it's interesting enough. But just the fact that I know that it's supposed to connect to a prior Mark Wade story,
Mhm.
that I almost am hesitant to give it a proper score without fully understanding what it is connecting.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because there's always that option where like he's going to be retconning half the shit that's in Kingdom Come with this new story because it's a prequel, or it's going to add to it and it's going to make both books better. But I won't know until I read it. So
You got some homework, buddy.
yeah, I do. For now though, just based off the art and the combat was really cool. I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Sorry, my computer is approaching death, so I gotta plug in my charger.
No
Um,
worries. Don't want to die on it.
um, no, as for me, I really enjoyed this issue. Like I've been enjoying the arc so far. And goes without saying that Dan Moore is just tearing it up with each page. But I like that in its return to the Kingdom Come universe, it's not just trying to tread familiar water thematically. Like this is, I would say, arguably a little bit more of a, is lighthearted the right word? I don't know. But I feel like it's not as, say, uh it's not quite as dramatic as Kingdom Come is, and I think you'll get a better sense of that when you give it a reread. But at
Yeah.
least for my memory, that one was just like, oh, it's so heavy on the pathos and like, oh, the world is falling apart and trying to avoid the end and all this stuff. And it does, have that like optimistic ending. But yeah, I think this one is like we're doing sort of a more fun, action-packed romp through the Kingdom Come universe, and doing it through the lens of the younger versions of our heroes, which is nice. Like I'm not just trying to tell Kingdom Come 2. It's a bit of a different approach I appreciate. So no,
Mhm.
it was fun, and looking forward to the next one. So I gave it 8.25 out of 10.
Right on. Something I forgot I was thinking about when I was like, just after you saw me playing with the Doctor Doom and Thing figures,
Uh,
I was like, it just reminded me of the last issue of Fantastic Four. I don't know if you've read it,
I
you still
still
haven't, huh?
haven't. I still haven't.
Oh
I
shit.
feel so bad.
Like
I'm
you
only
haven't read that issue or you haven't started the series?
I haven't started the series.
Oh man.
Yeah. Like I've really only had
It's
a
a thrill
couple
ride.
of Marvel books that I've been able to follow. And I just kind of had been trying to focus on those. But yeah, I
Yeah.
really you have been singing the praises of the series from the start, so I need to really just give myself the time to sit down and read it. I think
Yeah.
I'll do that over the holidays.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Josh even started reading it, but he's about 3 issues deep.
Mhm.
Just this last issue had basically Ben versus Doom
Oh man.
in a battle of
I
wits.
mean, there you go. Like,
Not even a battle of strength. Like Ben goes like, I know he could beat me with the snap of his fingers. It's like, so I'm just gonna talk to him.
did Ryan North, like, I don't know, camp out at your place or something and be like, he's got a thing figure and he's got a Doom figure. I can do something with that. Hold
Yeah, that
on.
sounds interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think this has ever happened before.
Actually, on the subject, we're just like we are. This episode is a train wreck.
This is gonna be the longest bonus show
Oh my
ever.
god! But are you still reading Incredible Hulk?
Yes, I haven't read
Okay,
this week's issue yet though.
it's good. It's really good.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, it's got Ghost Rider on the cover. I'm
yeah.
excited.
Well, so I kind of like, because I had some free time before I had to catch my flight, and I ended up just rereading the first 5 issues again, because I'm following it monthly, but I kind of want to just like remind myself of all this stuff. But yeah, like I
Yeah.
I think even I was like, maybe I was underselling it a little bit, and how I was describing it to other people. Like I'm really into it now, but especially with this most recent one, because
All
um
right. Good.
the this new Ghost Rider, it's cool. That's all I'll say. It's very cool.
Also, because I know they announced there's a new person going to be the Spirit of Vengeance soon, like a
Yeah.
fourth Ghost Rider. So is this that new one?
I don't think so. I think this is just like uh Philip Kenny Johnson having a little fun with the Ghost Rider character. Because
Okay.
it's not anyone familiar to us, at least not now. But but no, I don't know about if this is gonna be the mysterious new fourth one or anything. Could be. I don't think so though.
Yeah. Interesting.
Mhm.
I gotta catch up on the Ghost Rider series too.
That's
It's
another
been
one
pretty good.
I haven't even
Yeah.
read. I think I
But
might have read the first issue, but I don't remember.
it started getting a weird little crossover with Wolverine. I was like, I wasn't
Yeah,
reading Wolverine, and I'm just like, now I'm turned off.
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. But I want to get back into it. Same with Iron Man. It started crossing over with X-Men. I'm like, I
You're
fuck,
not
man.
reading X-Men.
There's so many.
Uh,
It's like, god damn. This is why like Fantastic Four and Hulk,
hmm,
perfect.
yeah,
Self-contained.
yes.
No issues or no problems.
Also, wait, are you reading the new Daredevil?
I started to. I know I read the first issue.
Mhm.
Wasn't in love with it. I'm gonna
Okay.
give it a couple issues like for them to come. I do think issue 3 just came out. So
Yes, yeah,
I'll
it's
wait till issue
I
4 comes out.
I
Maybe
know
I'll
it's
give it
like
another try.
it's definitely different from what Chip is doing, but I really like how Saladin Ahmed is approaching Matt's character, especially with the kind of new status quo shift
Yeah.
post Red Fist saga or whatever that final arc is called, where now he's just a priest, but he also has memory of being Daredevil and basically has to act in both capacities.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I dig it. I dig the current status quo. And I think the writing, like it's different. Yes, it's if you were in love with the Zdarsky stuff, I can see how this might kind of turn you off, but I kind of dig it.
Yeah, that's exactly like what it was because I was so invested in Chip's
Mhm.
story, and this
Yeah,
is like why is he a priest now? Like, does he have
yeah.
memory loss? Like, there's so many questions. I'm just like, do I even care? Like, yeah, I'll definitely give it another shot though.
Mhm.
I'll wait for a few issues to come out before I'll try
Yeah,
and binge it and
that's fair.
see if it reads better.
Oh God, what other? I'm reading JMS's Captain America, which is only 2 issues in. That's interesting. I don't really have any other words for it right now. It's taking its time,
Yeah.
but I feel like I'm gonna need a whole arc before I can form an opinion on that one.
I'm seeing
Um,
some interesting stuff coming out of Uncanny Adventures. That's making me want to get into that book.
yeah, I was so into the X stuff for at least 2 years, but I think after Ten of Swords, I really started to fall off hard, and then basically I like haven't read anything in the current X line. I started to read Alpha Flight,
Right.
but I kind of just well, I didn't lose interest. I just kind of forgot about it. So
Yeah.
I need to check out the rest of those. Oh, and I read actually that's a bit unfair because Simon Spurrier is doing Uncanny Spider-Man, I think it's called, which is basically
Yeah.
Nightcrawler as Spider-Man. And it's actually pretty fun. And he has
Yeah, I
like
might give
this.
that a shot too.
Yeah, no, it's worth checking out, and it doesn't really require as much knowledge of all the Fall of X stuff right now.
Okay, that's good.
It's really just like, what if Kurt was moonlighting as like a Spider-Man type creature and was being hunted by Silver Sable?
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting premise.
it's fun.
Yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy, have you been reading that?
Yes, yeah. Although I haven't read the most recent one, I think seven might have
Yeah,
been.
I haven't read the
Um,
most recent one either.
yeah,
Not yet.
but it's
I
still
mean,
pretty
I
good.
started to, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
really interesting.
yeah,
Took directions I did not think it would go.
yeah, yeah. Which is I'm glad wasn't trying to um just directly follow up from the previous. I know a lot of people have kind of been like, what the fuck? Like, how did we get from the Al Ewing stuff to this? But I appreciate it's kind of like taking its time and telling that story. Um, yeah, it's good stuff. Marvel's got some good books. I'll give it credit when it's deserved.
Yeah. I
I
I just hope it's not like the Al Ewing book had its
yeah,
own story and it told it 18 issues and it was done.
Yeah,
Like I hope that they have more than just one story to tell.
I hope so too, but I don't know. The longevity of Guardian series has not been great in recent
Yeah.
years.
Just feels like, and I know DC's got their own thing going on when it comes to like 6 to 12 issue minis,
Yeah,
but it feels like almost every book Marvel puts out is set for one big story and that's it.
basically. I mean, I think that's kind of how they operate now, where it's like you pitch a book, they commission you for one story based on how it sells. It can either continue or not. I think they're obviously like some like Spider-Man that's not going to end after 5 issues, but
Yeah.
if it's like, oh, we're doing a book with Nomad or something like that, or a Winter Soldier miniseries, like it really just comes down to sales.
Yeah.
Um, but even some of the more popular ones like aren't immune to that because I mean Deadpool, I don't think it hasn't had a series that went past 25 issues in like 5 years,
Been a
which is
while.
crazy.
Yeah. Like I guess it helps that they do the legacy numbering because
Yeah,
they'll do the number one over
yeah.
and over and over again every few years, but they'll still
Oh
have like
God.
it's still number 457. Like
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just a little tired of it. And I saw an interview with CV Cebulski recently that was like he was just very candid about why they are doing number ones. And I was like, I know. We all know why. We all know why
yeah,
this is a short-term sales booster, but it doesn't make
yeah,
it any less egregious, in my opinion.
yeah.
It's like you're not
It's
thinking long term. You're just thinking like, how can we make a quick buck for this month, and then
yeah,
see how long it peters out until we have to do the next inevitable relaunch.
yeah. Like it's almost horrible for collectors
Yeah.
trying to just catalog all this stuff.
Oh,
So I need Ghost Rider number two. Yeah, which one? We have seven.
I'm telling
uh,
you, it's gonna be like in 10 years, it's gonna be like, yeah, let me get Ghost Rider Volume 16, number one.
yeah.
Like, are you serious?
Yeah,
Um,
it's
yeah.
it's too much. Like Green Lantern, you can argue has been going since 1940, and it's only up
Mhm.
to volume 8.
Yeah.
Marvel's been going strong since 63.
Well, it's really just like these past 2 decades, because I mean, Spider-Man didn't really have all that many relaunches until like the 2010s, probably. I mean, I can't really think like I mean, yeah, they had like relaunches within specific eras, but they never like canceled the title and then had a new number one. It was always
Yeah,
like, oh, someone else will take over. Except for, well, I think, yeah, they did one in 1999 and then ended up going back to the legacy number
yeah,
after whatever issue that was that JMS did. But for the most part, it's like it's rare that they would relaunch long running titles like that. And now it's like, I don't know, if Spider-Man's selling like shit, we're gonna relaunch after 25.
yeah. Except this current
Except with
run.
this one, which I don't understand. Like the
Like they
book
think
must be
they think they're gone
selling.
to 38
Yes, it's
just
it's
came
gonna
out.
it's gonna hit 50. I'm sure of it, and I
It's
don't
just
understand it.
fucking wild because it gets nothing but bad press.
Yes, that's the thing. Like it must be selling. Otherwise, there's no reason for them to keep it unless it's just out of spite. But like
Yeah.
literally, even the most recent issue, like I've never seen such a collective "who cares" reaction to this recent one.
I
No one that I've talked to seems even remotely excited for Gang War.
don't even know what the hell that is.
It's
Oh, is
like
that Tombstone?
yeah, it's like a new event that they're doing, and Spider-Man is like the main book attached to that.
Yeah. Oh, so like a
Basically,
multi-series
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
The only thing of significance attached to that is there's a new Spider-Woman series spinning out of that, and they have a Luke Cage miniseries. Aside
Okay.
from that, no one gives a fuck.
Yeah.
It's really so sad.
Oh, I know I don't.
Yeah.
I've given up on Spider-Man 3 times in this
Uh,
run.
it's so depressing.
I don't know why I bothered.
I just want it to be over. I just want the next
Yeah.
thing.
It's yeah. I I don't think it's so much of a stretch to say that Spider-Man hasn't been good since JMS.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. A lot of
I
people
kn-
would say that.
yeah. I know
I
you and Kirk have said the Nick Spencer stuff wasn't bad.
Yes, okay. I will be a defender of like the first three-fourths of the Nick Spencer stuff to my dying day because I do think it was really good and it was necessary. And the sort of malaise that people felt towards the end of Dan Slott's time with Spider-Man was real, and people needed something that was new. And
Yeah.
you talk to most people, like the first year and a half of Nick Spencer stuff, people love because it was so character centric, and it was like, ah, yes, we're finally gonna see a Peter Parker that grows. Now, unfortunately, that kind of got fucked towards the end, but
Yeah.
for a while there, people like really had hope, and it felt like people were excited to read Spider-Man again. And then I don't know, you there was like a part of you that wanted to believe it could last forever, but it never does. Um,
No.
I will say a lot of people give some of the Dan Slott stuff some hate, and it is warranted. There are some good arcs. I've conceded to that. A friend and I have kind of gone back and forth about this because I was just like, was there really anything good about the Brand New Day era, or was it just kind of a waste of time?
I thought the
But
hunt, the not the hunt, the gauntlet wasn't bad.
yeah, no, like, and that's a pretty good one. There's oh God, Spider Island. I know some people don't like Spider Island, but actually, I don't hate that story.
I
All
thought it
things
was
considered,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Spider-Verse is a little bit bloated in terms of all the tie-ins, but the main story I think works pretty well.
Oh yeah, the main story for
Um,
Spider-Verse was
yeah.
fantastic.
Mhm. So there's some stuff where you're just like, yeah, okay, I can give credit where credit is due. Do I
Yeah.
think he was on the book for too long? Yes, absolutely, without a doubt. But
And
I
now
will
he's
not.
going back to
And now
it.
that's why I'm just like, why did you even remove him? Like, I know they wanted to
Yeah.
really give Nick Spencer his chance to shine, but like, if you were just gonna go back to giving him a Spider-Man book, what was all that fanfare about? Like, oh, Amazing Spider-Man 801 is gonna be the last Spider-Man story that Dan Slott ever writes. And
Yeah.
then literally like 3 years later, he's writing the adjectiveless Spider-Man title, which I hear is much better than the main title.
Yeah.
I haven't
And
actually got a chance to read it.
he's doing Superior Spider-Man again.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think he's doing Spider-Boy as well.
I think so.
Yeah,
Which
so
I feel like that's got to be a sign of the times that people are not only excited about, but actually like retroactively rewriting how they appreciated Superior Spider-Man in the past because the current run is so bad.
yeah,
Like,
like I
never in
I
a
am one of
million
those
years would I've
people.
imagined that. I know. Where you're just like, you're looking back, like, was it really that bad? Maybe not.
No. It is actually kind of enjoyable in its own
Yeah.
weird little way.
Like maybe the um ah, God, maybe the weirdness and strange character of the Doc Ock Peter Parker wasn't as bad as we all thought.
Yeah. Like I'll be honest, like when they did that changeover and they had Superior Spider-Man take over as the main book, I read a few issues and I was like, I don't care. Like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
I stopped reading it. But then when they did the second Spider-Verse where they had
Mhm.
Superior Spider-Man is going to be here too, like he's coming back and we're gonna like one more issue of his main run from 3 years ago. I'm like, maybe if I want to get the whole story, I went in like a few days. I read the entire run of Superior
Yeah.
Spider-Man. I'm like, this actually wasn't that bad. Like,
Yeah.
it's actually quite a good.
No, I don't know. I think I'm the same way where like I was so turned off by like that first arc where like, oh, this is sucks. And
Yeah.
then you go back and kind of revisit a lot of it. And actually kind of I like the Peter working with, was it Horizon Labs? I forget.
Yeah. All right.
That like that whole angle of basically Doc Ock actually being a better Peter Parker
Yeah.
in the real
Like
one. Like,
it wasn't just a show. Like he really was the
yeah,
superior
like
Spider-Man.
he was living a better life, arguably.
Yeah.
So And that I think again is really like clear sign of the times. The fact that people are like, maybe the superior Spider-Man was the superior Spider-Man, because you read Amazing Spider-Man right now and you just kind of want to give up on life.
He's the subpar Spider-Man.
It really is the subpar Spider-Man.
Yeah. He's helped from his arch nemesis to be a good Spider-Man. Like, fuck
It
off.
it's such a shame too, because like they have such good like artists working on that book right now, and it
John
makes me
Romita
want to.
Jr.
Well, I mean, not so much John Romita Jr., but like no, they had like Ed McGuinness and they had Pat
Yeah.
Gleason, and I'm just like I want to read that so bad, but I can't.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Like I'm all for a Norman Osborn redemption arc,
Mhm.
but then to tease you for 25 issues that he's redeemed, but oh wait, his sins are back to haunt him. Will he
Oh
take them? No, he
God,
won't. Will he take them? Peter has his sins. Sorry, what the fuck?
what? Oh right, because they were doing that like yeah, Peter's infected by Norman's sins and he was hunting Craven or
Yeah.
some shit.
Yeah, he's the Spidey who gobbles.
Oh, oh,
it was so
please,
dumb.
like just someone please save me. Jonathan Hickman,
Bring
please save me.
back JMS. Oh, can you imagine Jonathan Hickman taking over ASM?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I think Ultimate Spider-Man is that's going to be our saving grace. I really hope
Oh
so.
yeah. I mean, like already we have confirmed that not only is he going to be married to Mary Jane, but they will have two children. So, like,
Yeah.
yeah, that doesn't just undo the current bullshit, but it undoes Dan Slott's bullshit.
Also, I'm like, what is the hold? Like, what is the hold up right now in having any kind of marriage? Because for years, everyone was like, it's Joe Quesada. The reason that we can't have the marriage is because Joe Quesada hates the marriage. Joe
Yeah,
Quesada is gone, right? He's a
yeah,
freelancer now. So I'm like, who's stopping this?
exactly. It's the same thing with Dan DiDio hated sidekicks, and now
Yeah,
Dan DiDio's gone, and sidekicks are in abundance,
yeah.
right?
Like if we want to do
Dick
it,
Grayson is one of the
let's
best
just do
heroes
it.
right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's just go for it. Like
So
if,
with
if no one
Casada, so it
cares,
makes you wonder, like if it wasn't Casada who was saying
who
no,
was it? I don't know.
right?
Maybe it
Or just
was
nobody has a story to bring it back to the status quo.
the real enemy all this time in a Game of Thrones esque reveal was that the biggest enemy of Spider-Man was Nick Lowe.
That'd be wild.
Yeah.
No, I'm just waiting for the issue where like they that whole and this is the thing that's bugging me still is I
Mhm.
get the meaning behind the name of the story arc One More Day
Mhm.
that JMS wrote and like what that means, but like I can't help but feel like there's a hidden meaning there. Like JMS wrote that and entitled
Yeah.
it One More Day with the in intent expression that one day there will be one more day where they go back to this
Mhm.
and they can have their one more day, and maybe that one more day is forever.
Yeah.
Like I'm waiting for the issue of Amazing Spider-Man where somebody like some kind of time travel or they interact with Mephisto and undo that curse, and they go back to Peter and Mary Jane are married again. Mary Jane's pregnant. Aunt May is still alive but recovering from the gunshot wound from Kingpin's
Mhm.
assassin. Like I'm waiting for us to go back to that, and there's the one more day and it all comes full circle, and the last 20 years were just a fucking fever dream.
See, if you had read Nick Spencer's run towards the end, you would have thought that they were fucking with you, because
Oh no.
a lot of the teasing with like, oh, you know, Mephisto and Peter have a deal, but Peter doesn't know what it is, right? Because like he lost all memory of that deal after it was
Yeah.
made. But Strange, there was like this whole subplot where basically Strange was like, something's up because there's like a part of Peter's soul that's tainted. Clearly, he's made some kind of deal. He just doesn't know it. And like, you know, they're talking about one more day. They just don't
Yeah.
say it. But the thing that they were basically trying to tease with that rushed ass ending was this idea that like even with the deal, I think this is sort of like what you were talking about, where they've left the door open to potentially revisit one more day. But the thing I think the thing they were trying to say towards the end was basically that The reason that Mephisto is even now still reluctant to renege on that deal, or that, you know, they're trying not to have Peter and Mary together, is that Mephisto was like basically in fear of what the product of Peter and Mary Jane's relationship would be. And I think they were trying to like tease the idea that if they had a kid, that kid would probably be Mayday Parker from the, I forget what universe that is. The Spider-Girl universe would
Yeah.
basically be a huge threat to Mephisto's power. I don't remember all the details because that was like 3 years ago, but it was something to that effect, which is basically
Mhm.
why he wanted to work so hard to keep them apart. That said, that is a plot point that you can return to, because all of this is stuff that Mephisto knows, but it's nothing that Peter knows, right? Like he's not even
Right.
aware that this deal has been made, or is a deal that he made, and this is why Mephisto is trying to keep it, you know, active. So I don't know. Maybe someone will return to it one day when we're done with this, whatever it is.
So
But I don't know.
what's the name of the guy writing it right now?
Zeb Wells.
Oh fuck. Yeah, so now I have a theory because I didn't know about the Nick Spencer stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a wild crackpot theory that's probably not true.
Mhm.
So like Zeb Wells has been very smug about Peter just being a loser
Yeah.
and Mary having Paul and some next kids and some other shit and keeping them
Yeah.
apart for whatever fucking reason. So what if this is all just he's telling the story and but the his end game is revisiting that deal and building off of Nick Spencer's story, and it will end with Peter and Mary Jane back together because they keep like the bits that I have read and I've
Mhm.
seen articles and people talking about it, like they keep hinting at a reason why Peter and Mary Jane can't be together, but nobody ever explicitly says why not.
Yeah.
Like they keep talking about it throughout Zeb Wells' run, but nobody ever says
Mhm.
why or what happened or any bullshits. So like maybe that's his end game here, but
Maybe. I
he's
mean, I don't know that
we
that
gotta
would.
we gotta walk through the slop to get to the
Yeah,
tasty
that's
morsels.
like, I don't know that that would redeem just the worst parts of this
Definitely
run, but
won't.
it would get me interested again. Like I
Yeah,
would definitely be willing to start reading it again and be like, oh, okay, if they were returning to that idea.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. I never saw
I
someone lose goodwill so fast, because everyone was like, Zeb Wells, like, oh, he's the man, he's hot shit because he did Hellions and everyone loved that book. And then, you know, when he stepped on to, they were doing the Beyond era, which I think Kirk and I were talking about for a little bit, and like had a couple of good issues, but people just liked that run focused on Ben Riley. But you never saw someone lose the goodwill that they'd earned from other books so fast. Where it's like Discourse was like, oh yeah, Zeb Wells, like Hellions is really great. That was awesome. To he sucks and he's the worst writer ever.
on second thought, Hellions is garbage.
Yeah. No, I legitimately think some people are gonna start re-examining it. And
Yeah,
I feel like a prophet over here, because
yeah,
I read Hellions #1 when it came out, and I said this is okay. I wasn't like, oh, I'm on the hype train, you know, this is
yeah,
excellent or anything. Like I read the first issue, I said this is fine, and then I didn't
yeah.
read anything else. And I was like, I didn't really have all that much interest in it. So in
Yeah,
my mind, Zeb Wells was always like an okay writer. I had nothing grand to consider. I feel
yeah.
like I had the foresight. I was ahead of the game.
So I know I've read stuff from Zeb Wells before, but I, for the life of me, couldn't remember what they are.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, aside from the Beyond stuff, and I know he did Hellions. I think he had a run on New Mutants, but I haven't read that. But aside from that, I have no idea.
Let's take a quick look. Did you? Oh, he did some Spider-Man stuff before.
Mhm. Well, yeah, I remember it might have
He
been
did do
on.
Avenging. It was Avenging Spider-Man is probably what I read.
Yeah, um,
Oh, and some
I
Wolverine. Yeah.
I remember he did like an arc with Lizard that I think people didn't really like in Spider-Man. But I don't remember where I heard that. It might have been on like a Spider-Man fan website or something.
Yeah. So Zeb Wells was one of the Spider-Man brain trust
Oh,
with
yeah.
Dan Slott back
Yeah, and the
during One More Day, or Brand New Day. Yeah, because it was like three or
yeah,
four writers taking turns, and then eventually Dan
yeah.
Slott just took over the whole thing. Zeb Wells is one of those people.
Um, who else was in that? Was it Mark Wade too?
I don't
I think
I
it
don't
because it was
think
like
so.
Dan Slott, Zeb Wells. I want to say Mark Guggenheim. I know, shocking.
Yeah.
Um, um, and it might have been Mark Wade, I think. I gotta double check. Because he did a decent bit of Spider-Man stuff in that Brand New Day era. And his stuff is like, well, it's mixed, but there's some stuff that is like far and away the best.
Yeah. I'm trying to just find the full list. Uh okay, so I see last names. Oh, there's etc. So hang on. Oh my god. Just give me a name list, people. Shit.
I just typed in Brand New
Okay.
Day writers and
Yeah. So
all
Dan
I s-
Slott,
yeah,
Bob Gale, Mark Guggenheim, Zeb
okay.
Wells, they were the original Brain Trust.
Yeah.
But
I
then
don't
I also
even
see names Wade and Kelly. So probably
yeah.
Mark Wade was involved. I don't know which one would be Kelly.
Yeah, Joe Kelly did
Would be Joe Kelly.
was it The Hunt? I think that the Craven
Oh
story.
yeah, maybe yeah.
Um yeah, but I mean I know he did a couple of other arcs. I don't know it all that well. But no, Mark Wade did no, not Emergency Stop. That's a Flash arc. It's like something Stop. Which is it's like a two-part arc where you first meet JJJ Senior. And that's
Oh
like
yeah.
perfect arc. That's great.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty good story. Mhm.
Uh, it's 5:20. We
Yeah.
haven't even talked about
We we still
uh
have two books to read. So
two books. I'm so sorry.
we went on a 20-minute tangent about a
Uh
book we don't even like. So
I'm just gonna say, Josh, if you're listening to this, and I know you will be, I'm so sorry. I promise we will be more focused
keep it
in
in.
the next one.
Do
Yeah.
not edit this out.
Okay.
Yes,
Let's
so we
see.
are going on to Jay Garrick the Flash #2.
Yes, we're done with Spider-Man forever. This is
Thank God.
Jake Eric the Flash, #2, written by Jeremy Adams, with colors by Diego Olortegui, colors from Luis Guerrero, and letters from Steve Wands. The issue begins with a flashback of the JSA in a canyon in Germany, taking down some Nazis and fighting a pack of soldiers led by the Robert. I don't know. Nazi technology is weird. But we cut over to Dr. Fate, who is preparing to summon someone as their kind of their trump card to basically bring them home and lead the charge forward. And of course, that person is none other than Mr. Jay Garrick himself, who is able to basically breeze his way through the battalion and make quick work of the Robert, though he does feel a little bit weird about some things. There's a kind of a sense of unease hanging in the background. But as they make their way into this mysterious Nazi base, they see that the Spear of Destiny is missing and that the Robert manages to teleport off before they can get any full answers. and it leaves Jay and the rest of the JSA quite confused. We cut over to Detroit in the present day, where Judy is undergoing some examinations at Star Labs. And they find that she's in perfect health and really doesn't have any kind of major chronal or lingering problems of any kind. And they return back to their home at Keystone City, where Jay is just feeling like not great about the fact that he's missed out on so much of Judy's life. But Joan is just kind of really grateful that they've been able to get their daughter back, and is kind of focused more on that and less about feeling bad about all the stuff that they've missed. Judy, on the other hand, is going to hang with Stargirl at the mall, and this is her first introduction to the mall in a very cute sequence of her just learning all this stuff about the modern world. But I think the even more adorable sequence in particular, and this is where I think Jeremy Adams is showing his strength as a writer, is this wonderful 9-panel sequence where Jay is entirely restless about the fact that Judy is at the mall and is very exposed, and clearly is not paying attention to his wife at all. And Joan eventually is just like, just go and take a peek, but don't let her see you. And it just perfection. But anyway, while Judy is enjoying all the wonders of the modern world, who should come storming in but the Robear, causing up quite a ruckus. But before they can encounter any kind of damage from the Robear, who basically goes straight for Judy and Stargirl, they're saved by Jay at the last minute. And of course, Judy is furious that Jay is here and has been following her this whole time. But they don't have any time for dealing with this personal drama, because they got to take down this Robear, which they do. And we get to see some wonderful father-daughter teamwork, taking down the Robear, in addition to getting a little bit of assistance from Stargirl. But they don't get any kind of definitive answers as to why the Robear is here or what they're planning to do. Just some weirdly cryptic language about someone who will see them soon, a strange person they don't know. And it sort of leaves Judy and Jay very confused, with Judy asking just what the hell is going on with everything right now.
Yeah.
And that's where our issue ends. Perfection. This is like manna from heaven. This is wonderful. This is a gift from above. If it's not clear, I love this issue. I love this series so far. Never mind the fact that Jay is one of my favorite speedsters, and certainly one of my favorite characters in the Flash family. But Jeremy Adams just once again showing his strengths as a character writer, and just like perfectly nailing Jay's character every time, both in the past and the present, which I love, because you have this great sequence in the beginning, and I opened this issue up and I was smiling like a lunatic, because I was like, oh, yes, we get the flashbacks to World War II, and we get to see young Jay, and we get to see what he was like during that time in more of a modern setting. Everything was perfect. And the art too, I don't want to sell it short, but the art just works so well. He works so well with with Diego Olortegui doing the pencils, and really is able to hone his strengths as an artist for this story. So this issue was, for me, a perfect strike as a baseball joke, because they use baseball bats. Yeah. Anyway, no, this issue is a 9.25 out of 10. I was smiling from ear to ear, and I loved it.
The term you're looking for is a home run.
A home run. I know sports. I've played a sport once or twice in my life.
Nerd.
I have held a basketball.
Held.
I held it.
He held it. Didn't do anything with it.
No, I know what it looks like, and I know what it feels like.
Yeah. I don't know if it bounces, but it felt good.
It does something.
Yeah. I leave that for the sports people.
Exactly.
Right. So I basically just second everything you just said. Robert best new character of 2023. We're near the end of the year, so I'm gonna start nominations now. Um, it's so heartfelt and warming
Mm.
to see Jay in this new light as a father. It's cool. It's fresh. It's interesting, and it's so weird to see a character that has been around since 1941 to have a fresh story.
Yeah.
And it's not just, oh, here he is like using his speed to like save the day. No, here's something like brand fucking new that he's never done before nearly 100 years after his creation. It's amazing.
Mm.
Um, can't say the same for Batman because how many times has he done everything he's just done? Right. But this like for Jay, like it's just feels so nice and feels so even better that it's Jeremy Adams writing it.
Mhm.
Um, that panel you're talking about where he's just restless, I totally feel that. Like being a father to a daughter now,
I
I
can only
I
imagine.
I know that when she's in her teen years, I'm going to be the exact same way.
The
I already get nervous if somebody babysits her and it's not me. Even if it's family, like I know my family's gonna take good care of my daughter, but like I I'm not there.
yeah.
What anything can happen, right?
You need to get yourself
Um,
some super speed so you can super spy, my friend.
God, I wish. um, so yeah, this issue fan freaking tastic. Um, definitely some mysterious stuff still going on with Dr. Alchemy and Lord knows who else. With the memories starting to flood back, we're gonna get a lot more teases of what's to come with the new Golden Age and with Jay and Judy. And Joan, I imagine too. I will second your score 9.25 out of 10. It's just solid go around.
Just excellent. But hey,
Mhm.
speaking of the new golden age, we can
Yeah,
literally just segue right into our last book.
exactly. I wonder who made that a thing. I wonder who set up that segue.
Oh wow.
It's almost like whoever wrote the schedule was thinking about stuff.
Almost.
Yeah.
That would be very clever.
Yes, not as clever as the guy at the beginning of the issue. But before I get into that, this is Justice Society of America number 7. Yes, number 7.
Yes.
It's written by Jeff Johns with art from Marco Santucci, colors from Ivan Placencia, and letters from Rob Lee, with, as the usual, Mikhail Yanin on the cover. Another artist that, in my opinion, can do no wrong. And especially this cover with Grundy in the background is freaking amazing.
Oh
So
yeah.
we open on the streets of Los Angeles. A man in somewhat of a clown makeup, kind of more of a jester, if anything, is
A
roaming the streets.
Harlequin, you might say.
Yeah, Harlequin, you might say, is roaming the streets looking for people that are abusers, molesters, predators, and just beating the shit out of them himself, and then tattooing their faces with diamonds over their eyes so he can always recognize them if they're out of the streets doing bad stuff again. And he's following the footsteps of his mother, who did what she did to repeat offenders. He will do the same thing, as he most likely is the Harlequin's son, who has been heavily teased by Jeff Johns for the past year. So, or I think even before, like I think he was even mentioned in Doomsday Clock, wasn't he?
Ah, he might have been. I don't
Might
remember,
have been.
but I think so.
I think I remember a chalkboard post something in one of our
Yeah.
Punter's Time Labs
Well, that
recently,
was
like
yeah,
find the Harlequin's son.
that was in I think the Flashpoint Beyond
Oh, maybe,
the
yeah.
zero issue, maybe.
Yeah, I have to go back and look at that chalkboard. I used to love going to the Booster Gold chalkboards and
Mhm.
just seeing what was there. Like 5 years later, I'm like, oh, they did this, they did this. Oh, they didn't do that yet. Hmm.
What is
Yeah.
Flashpoint?
Yes.
Oh, if only we knew.
Yeah. And then like I wonder for the 10 people that read the Flashpoint from 2001, they're like,
Like what?
what's the big deal? Like
That story?
yeah, that wasn't that great. Yeah. um right, so then we jump over to Slaughter Swamp in Gotham City, where Alan Scott, Batman, Huntress, and Stargirl are taking the fight to Solomon Grundy, but not like on purpose. They're trying to recruit Solomon Grundy into the Justice Society at the request of Huntress, because in her future, Solomon was on the team. Dr. Fate and Salem are on the case as well, trying to use magic to help subdue the beast, but they're having a bit of infighting, and Dr. Fate gets a fist right to the face. So Salem uses a curse that she says will temporarily lift the curse on Solomon Grundy and return him to his human form of Cyrus Gold, but the curse goes wrong, and instead he bursts into flame, reducing him to a skeleton. And Huntress gets a little pissed off and says, "What, you just fried my friend?" And Salem just goes, "What you expect? It's Saturday."
Hmm.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Feels
can't
like
can't can't really
an
complain.
excuse, but still.
Yeah, just try again in 2 days. That's
Mhm.
all. Like, don't wait a week. Just 2 days. We then jump over to Bellary Penitentiary, where we have Mr. Terrific, Power Girl, and Jakeem Thunder, trying to recruit Icicle 2, which is how he's referred to in the DC
Mhm.
character guidebook. I guess Icicle 2, the second Icicle, which I believe is the son of the first Icicle,
Yeah, good
who
old
did once
Icicle
upon a
Jr.
time help the JSA save the world against from the Ultra Humanite, as you can see in JSA Stealing Thunder. Uh all right, so they go to recruit him and try and bring him over to good side. And he is open to it and says like he does want to help save the world. Power Girl does threaten, like, if they can get he asks if they can just take him away from the heat lamps in his cell, and he says, Paige goes, "I have built-in heat lamps, so if you're 1 inch out of line, I can melt you in a second." So he is now on the team. And then over in Ivy Town at the Cold Coast facility for the criminally insane, Dr. Midnight is interviewing Jean Loring. You heard me talk about this 2 issues ago, because
We thought it was in
I
Titans.
yeah, I made a huge mistake. Uh she thinks Ray is there the whole time because she's batshit crazy. Um she like I said before, honey, he divorced you a long time ago.
Oh
He
yeah.
ain't coming back. Um but Dr. Midnight is there to get info on Eclipso, and after a while, eventually Jean does respond to Midnight saying if someone's been possessed by Eclipso, but then she goes, "Possessed? You mean infected?" That he doesn't 100% take over your body, he just uh, takes away your inhibitions. So you have some control over yourself, but for the most part, it's just you and your deepest, darkest feelings. Especially if you have any scores to settle, that's where you tend to go. So that's a hint to what's going on with Wildcats. As Jean says, I bet she's hunting Amanda Waller, since I that part is lost on me. The what this Wildcat, who again, the actual person's name I forget, but why
Uh,
should be hunting Amanda Waller? Oh, Yolanda is
Yolanda,
Yolanda something.
Yolanda something. Oh
Yeah,
man, I'm off my game
yeah,
today. I'm
but at least
tired.
it's Yolanda.
Yeah, I think
It's not Ted Grant.
yes.
But yeah, like Yolanda infected with Eclipso, hunting Amanda Waller, something's going on there. And then finally over in the Tower of Fate, or Fate's Tower, if you will, Salem and Khalid Nasur have words back and forth, and Khalid is ready to bring Salem back to Limbo. But then Salem gets defensive and says, "You don't even know what they did to me there." And Khalid first goes back with, "How can I? You won't tell me anything about your past, except that I'm not the real Dr. Fate, and you're his only protege, and you're the one that should have the helmet." So they have a little bit of a magical fight. Um, and then he does send Salem away eventually. But that's when the Helmet of Fate, Naboo, starts glowing and shows Khalid a vision of Grundy where he just says, "Save Grundy." Um, and as he tries to decipher what that means, that's when he is found by the legion of substitute superheroes, including Animal Lad, Rainbow Girl, and Stone Boy. And they ask him to come to the 31st century.
But
Next
not
issue,
just any version of the Legion of Super. Well, we'll get into that later, but
yeah.
it's a very specific version of the Legion of Substitute Heroes, and I was like flipping my shit when I saw this page.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know enough about a Legion to really recognize, so I hope you can give some insight. So next issue, the hunt for the Red Lantern begins. I looked at the little info boxes of each character. I am very interested in Rainbow Girl
Mm.
since she apparently
Oh
has the
man.
powers of the emotional spectrum.
Well, okay, so there was like a little well here, why don't you give your score first we can get into the
Mm.
specifics?
Very simple issue, four distinctly different stories. I guess five. Um, and they just go bit by bit, giving bits of each story going forward, all eventually going into one big story, as we will see. But each one was as interesting as the next, and when you have so many different characters you're dealing with in a team book, eventually you're going to have these issues just split in many different directions, and that's fine because the story itself is still interesting. The fact that he's adding more bits, like it's just, that this new golden age that Jeff Johns has planned has so many freaking layers to it. He's been
Oh yeah.
building up to this for years, realistically since Doomsday Clock, if not longer.
Yeah,
So
arguably since Rebirth, I'd say.
yeah.
The whole
So like the initiative, you mean Rebirth,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that's to look forward to, and we're going to have so many more issues like this, I imagine, where it's just like multiple stories in one because there's so many different characters. The the great part about it is the art. Definitely helps move the story along because the fucking, I can't remember who's doing the art now, but they're really capturing the essence of each character really well.
Yeah, I think
And
it's
Jeff
Marco
John,
Santucci.
I think you're right. And Jeff Johns has a wonderful voice for each character. Each one is as distinct as the next.
Mhm.
So this 8.75 out of 10, very solid issue.
Oh, eerie. That was the same score I was gonna give. And I pretty much echo most of what you had said. I know in some other books that we've talked about, we've kind of criticized when a book has like too many plots and it's trying to juggle everything. But I think the difference here, at least for me, is like I'm invested in each one of these individually. So like
Yeah,
even a small amount of focus on that plot works for me. So the relationship between Salem and Dr. Fate, the trying to get Grundy to join the team, the tease that Icicle Jr. is going to be there. Next issue, we're going to
yeah,
get the Red Lantern. Like, there's so many. It's like you said, like he's been building this story for years, and it's
mhm,
like each moment is getting its little payoff, or we're sort of working towards the payoff, and I'm
yeah.
invested in each one. So I'm like, this is an example of how to really keep people interested while handling multiple plots.
Yeah, and like to echo what you say about the multiple plots, like for me, the problem when issues do that is when they do the
Mhm.
multiple plots, they're jumping back and forth. Like they'll do,
Yeah.
okay, we got this character, then we got this character, they're going back to the first character, then go back to the other character. Like in that same issue is back. And like
Mhm.
this is like, here's this story, then here's this story, then here's this story, then we're done.
Yeah.
Like it's neat, it's clean.
No, it works very effectively, and
Yeah, almost feels like an anthology book.
no, it was that's why I liked it. Like we got to
Yeah,
focus on individual parts of the whole JSA story, and I really like that.
yeah,
Now we get to the Legion of Superheroes. So,
yes.
okay, a little backstory because this episode is not long enough. We for anyone who has read Legion stuff like throughout time knows that the Legion history is a little funky. because there's the original Legion timeline, the stuff from the 60s, then there's the Legionnaires reboot in the 90s, and then there's the uh Mark Wade The Legion series from like 2003. So basically what you have to keep in mind is there's like three different versions of the Legion. There's actually a fourth if you count the Bendis stuff, but I don't.
Yeah,
um
I've read
yeah,
Final Crisis, Legion of
yeah,
Three
Legion of Three
Worlds.
Worlds. So
So
yeah, so you kind of have that
yeah.
idea. But basically, what you have to keep in mind for this one is these characters are from the original Legion time, what I think Wikipedia calls the three boot timeline.
Oh, okay.
And that's just kind of how I know it. But this iteration of the Legion of Substitute Heroes is from like one of my favorite arcs of all time, Superman and the Legion of Superheroes from Jeff Johns Action Comics.
Ooh.
And that character, Rainbow Girl, I don't know if they ever explicitly teased it. I think it might have been they did like a follow-up Legion series in 2010 with Paul Levitz coming back to write the Legion again. And I think I don't remember, but they might have teased the idea that Dory was plugged into the emotional spectrum. So it wasn't so much that like um she could make constructs, but it was like she could get power basically from feeling the emotions that are tied to the emotional spectrum. So like, you know,
Oh,
if she
okay.
was super angry, she would get the powers of like she would just get like a jumped up boost of anger. But I don't
Right.
think they ever did anything like she had the powers of a lantern, just like she would get like a power boost. But her powers are kind of they again they like tease the idea that her powers were somehow connected
Yeah.
to the emotional spectrum.
That's what
Now,
they it does say in the box here, resulting in unpredictable mood swings.
yeah. And I don't even know if they really ever did any other emotions besides rage that we see, but that's just the example that I remember. The thing that got me really excited is like, I mean, this because I know we're at this weird stage where everything is supposedly canon. But
Yeah.
this seemingly confirms that the previous iteration of having different versions of the Legion is canon once again. So it's not just like the Legion of Superheroes book that Bendis did that everyone hated is the only Legion that we know. It's all of them. They're all out there somewhere. How they're going to try to explain that, I don't know. But I saw this and I lost my mind because I was like, this is my Legion. This was the first Legion I was ever exposed to was the one that they had partnered with Superman in Superman and the Legion of Superheroes in Action Comics. So that right for me was like, oh my god, it's gonna be that one, the one that I actually like. So it's made for me. So anyway, there's your backstory. I don't know exactly what kind of role they expected to play. And from my understanding, this may be another deep cut, but I don't remember a oh god, what was his name? Um hang on, let me pull up the issue. I don't remember an animal lad in the Legion of Substitute Heroes that was in Action Comics. So I don't know if this is a new character or just kind of a deep cut from an older Legion story, but that could also potentially be another thing to consider. So anyway, okay, rant over. That's your backstory. Very
Wait,
exciting
that
stuff.
is very exciting
Yeah.
because how the like now that I got it. I've been wanting since I read Final Crisis again some
Mhm.
months ago. I would want to go back and reread Legion of Three Worlds and see if it like
Yeah.
made a bit more sense. Because at the time, I was like, I think I got it in like there was this comic shop that was around. It opened a second location, but it
Mhm.
was only selling like graphic novels and back issues. So I was kind
Yeah.
of like, yeah. But it was around the corner from my work, so I went to check it out on opening day, and they had like graphic novels on sale. So I picked it up
Mhm.
because it looked interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about Legion, so I was fucking lost. Uh, but now that
Yeah.
I know a bit more, like I want to go back and see if it makes more sense. Um, so the idea here is this the concept of diverging futures?
Yes. Or well,
Okay.
so
So
if
they
I
all exist, they're all real in the one
yeah,
timeline, but like until these decisions are made, nothing's solidified.
if I'm remembering correctly, because I think with Legion of Three Worlds, they basically were trying to divide it up as each legion has its own respective future on a different Earth. I could
Okay.
be misinterpreting that, so just don't quote me on that. But I like vaguely remember that each legion basically, each of the three different legions that existed up until that point were on their own separate Earth and occupied a separate future. But personally, I think the more streamlined explanation is exactly what you just said. It's diverging futures, right? So you have the classic Silver Age Legion, the one that teamed up with Superboy, like that version. And then you have the 90s one that was like teaming up with Young Justice or whatever. And then the Mark Wade, Barry Kitson Legion that no one talks about. Personally, I think if you just had like three different future timelines, it makes much more perfect sense than having them be on like three different worlds. But I don't know. I don't know if that's how they're going to try and explain it. Now at least.
Great. That's gonna be interesting regardless.
Yeah. But
See how
yeah,
they go
no,
with
this
it.
this this I feel like is the gateway towards potentially bringing back like the original Legion, which was sort of the goal of um the previous Legion of Three Worlds thing, which I was basically trying to say like these other versions are out there, but it's not going to be the one we focus on. The one we focus on is going to be like the adult versions of the Legion stuff from the 60s.
Yeah. Which is just exciting. Like
Yeah.
we're getting all these teases and throwbacks from DC recently, and I'm loving all of it.
I have a real soft spot for the Legion of Superheroes, so I really want them to go all in on this. And I don't know. I tried to give the new Legion a chance, but I couldn't make it past two issues. So I'm like, if we need to go back to the past, then so be it.
One last tangent. Have you read Void Rivals this week?
Haven't. I still have not read issue 5. I gotta catch up.
Oh, okay.
Um, but if there is another character appearing, please don't spoil it for me.
Nothing in this issue, but like there's a pretty big revelation about like I don't remember the characters' names, but just like
Dirac and Salila, I think.
yeah, the two lead characters.
Yeah.
But you'll see it in issue 5. Issue 5 has some interesting stuff. There's
Okay.
more Transformer stuff in
Yeah.
there. Yeah. But
And I'm
there's something else in the revelation of like I wanna because you might not recognize it, but I kind of recognize it and I want to see what you say
interesting.
when you
Okay.
get to read it. Yeah.
I think I already know the answer to this question, but have you read Transformers #2 yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
I told Josh to read it.
Yes. Oh, it's so good. Also,
'Cause
a lot bloodier than I was expecting. Like
yeah,
they
I kind of
really
dig it.
I'm still thinking about that panel where he like I forget if it was which the plane Decepticon, I don't
It
remember.
was
It was
Starscream.
Starscream. The plane one, the jet one. But he literally just like splats the guy in his hand. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that's it's kind of brutal.
What's even funnier is when you remember that on the Decepticon team right now, there's two plain Transformers.
Oh yeah. Well, that's not gonna be confusing for me at all.
Yeah, you're gonna have to remember the white one or the gray one
Okay, well, I right now I have like the
or black one.
capacity to remember like 5. So I have Optimus Prime, I
Yeah,
have Ratchet, I
right.
have um
They're easiest to remember.
Starscream,
Right.
Starscream, I
The plain
have
one.
the plain one.
The plain one.
Um, was there another one that he there was another one he resurrected, but I'm
There
forgetting its name.
there's so there's 3 Decepticons total right now.
Okay.
And I think alive right now there's 4 Autobots.
Oh, there was like the one who has like the chest that opens and
Oh
has the
yeah,
bird. I don't remember his name.
Soundwave.
Soundwave. Okay.
Yeah, he transforms into a tape deck.
Yes. Oh, wait,
because
never mind. I'm thinking of something
80s.
else. Yeah.
What are you thinking of?
It's um yeah, I think that's all I got.
Yeah,
I can't remember the other ones.
no worries.
Sorry.
Issue 2 has Cliff Jumper.
Oh, okay, that was it. Cliff
Yeah,
Jumper.
and I think Wheeljack is in it as well.
See, I can't be like, how are you supposed to remember all these names and be like, oh, the real name of Phantom Girl from the Legion of Superheroes is Tiffy Owazo, because I would be such a hypocrite. So I just gotta try and remember.
Also, the purple and black jet is Thundercracker.
Thundercracker. Okay.
Yeah,
I was not gonna remember that.
yeah. And I'll be honest with you, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's Thundercracker. Thundercracker might be the blue one.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it's the black and purple one. So the problem with the Seekers is they all look the same, they just have different colors, but then they all have distinctly different names.
I'm looking it
Like
up now, and he's
there's
like,
Skywarp, there's Thundercracker, there's
oh my
Starscream,
God.
there's like six other ones.
Ugh, I can't remember all this stuff.
Yeah.
Um, yes, okay, yeah. Because I remember they were saying like they only had enough um energon to resurrect a couple, but they couldn't find more. That's like the
Yeah.
central problem right now is they need to find more ways to harvest energon, I guess.
Yeah. Biggest surprise for me was seeing Duke.
Yeah, which I
That's why I told Josh to go read it, and I just realized,
mm,
Josh, you have that probably haven't read it yet, and you just heard this.
well, rip. Yeah,
Oh
sorry, dude.
no,
Well, I don't know. I feel
spoiled it.
bad because like I had it spoiled for me at a big ass panel at New York Comic Con where
Oh yeah.
literally Daniel Warren Johnson was getting prodded by the Skybound editor Sean Makowitz, and he was literally just like, "Oh, are you going to talk about surprise appearance?" And then they're like, "Oh yeah, Transformers #2. We're going to see Duke." So I don't know.
Why would they spoil that?
I don't know. They were trying to get the hype going, but I was just like, okay, well now I know. So the suspense is
Yeah,
gone.
yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of
Um,
like I knew that was gonna happen.
that's fair. I thought it was cool.
Mm,
Yeah. I'm just still surprised that they killed off Bumblebee so soon.
yeah.
Poor guy didn't even get a chance. He is arguably the most famous Transformer.
I wish you could have been with me at that Skybound panel because I think you would have been having the time of your life because
Maybe, yeah.
Johnson kept making jokes about like how he hates Bumblebee and
Oh no.
his first decision when he was, you know, announced as writing and drawing the book was I'm gonna kill Bumblebee. I'm gonna
Holy
make sure he's
shit.
buried in the rubble.
Damn.
Yeah. And everyone was
That's
like,
wild.
boo.
So he chooses Cliff Jumper, who's a Bumblebee reskin.
Ooh,
Brilliant.
ouch. Dang. Okay then.
Yeah, like literally, if you compare Bumblebee and Cliff Jumper, they look exactly the same, except one's yellow, one's red. Because
Well,
it was the easiest way for them to sell toys. Like
I
we can make
guess
a handful of models and just recolor them, and it's a new toy.
yeah, I guess he prefers red.
Yeah, I guess. That's why there's like six different Star Screams.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Now I know where there are so many different planes.
exactly.
Anyway, Transformers is awesome.
Yes.
I'm like, I just need all the issues now.
Yeah, I can't wait for more. Okay, but let's finish off the
Yes, we
DC
can do
books.
this.
We
We've been here for
have
4 hours.
finished the solicitations, not solicits, the summaries and our reviews, but now we're going to rank them and have a top moment in the bonus show if you have one. Do you want to kick us off?
All right. At number 3, I have Titans. At number 2, I have Jay Garrick the Flash. Or sorry, no, I have JSA number 7. But at number 1, I had to give it to Jay Garrick the Flash, which is just perfection. And I just really love what Jeremy Adams has done with this series in just 2 issues so far.
Hmm.
But my favorite moment, again, I feel like I've already kind of given it away, is really just all of the interactions with Jay and Joan, but in particular that one where he's just like restlessly trying to act like he's interested, but is not doing a good job. And eventually she's just like, just go, just get out of here, check on your kid, but be sly about it.
Yeah. So my top three is exactly the same:
Mhm.
Titans, JSA, Jay Garrick. My favorite moment comes out of JSA. Huntress getting pissed off at Salem, and Salem goes like, "What do you expect? It's Saturday. He's going to die today.
Yeah.
Come back tomorrow. We'll bury him, and then we'll come back Monday and try again."
Yeah. He'll be
Yeah,
back.
yeah. It always happens. Yeah. All right. So we have been here for a very long time, but
Oh
honestly,
God.
Brandon, man, it's been great to have you back
It's
on.
been great to catch
Um,
up.
yeah. And so many bloody tangents and
Oh
no Josh to
man.
keep us on track.
Josh is I'm so sorry, dude. You're gonna be editing this episode forever. So
Yeah.
good luck, man.
Yeah. It's a good thing we're doing it a day early so you don't have to
Yes.
rush it out Friday.
Yeah. But yeah, let suffice it to say there's gonna be a lot for you to just sift through before we actually start talking about the
Exactly.
books, including like a 25-minute tangent of us just talking about Spider-Man. I'm not ashamed.
That's not even
Like,
before the books. That was in the
yeah,
middle of the
that was
books.
literally
So
in the middle of them.
that's going to be part of this show. The
Oh,
listeners have heard it.
you just got to deal with it.
Yeah,
Look, if
we
we have to
just
suffer through the Zeb Wells run, you do too. I'm
exactly.
sorry, but it's just how it is.
Yeah, everybody no, like I feel so bad to make that a rule. Nobody should have to suffer through Zeb Wells Spider-Man.
I know, but I'm just like I can't carry this alone. Even though I'm not reading the book anymore, like I
I
feel
but
like
like
I need to spread the
every
word on how bad it is.
every week there's a new article about it. It's like I can't fucking escape it. I
I
haven't read the
know
last four issues.
you can't. No, you literally can't because it's like they just are endless in talking about this. It's inescapable. It really is.
Yeah. And like fan rece like not even fan like the reception for the book is there's an article describing what happened
Mhm.
and then there's people bashing it.
Yeah.
There's nothing else.
Like I don't think I've seen anyone positively reading the series.
No, even the
Uh,
articles about the
yeah.
book are just talking about what happened. They're not even
Yeah.
saying it was good or bad. They're just saying, yeah,
No.
this happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, one day it'll everything will work itself out. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm like I just want that day to come soon.
Yeah. Mayday Parker will come back from the future and say, hey, mom, dad, listen up. Let's go to hell.
Please. Honestly, like I'll take anything at this point.
Yeah.
Just can we please move past this era of Peter is constantly the fall guy and cannot ever have a happy relationship. Like, we're been doing this for like 20 plus years, like you said. Like, let's move on,
Exactly.
please.
And something else we've been doing for 20 plus years, this podcast.
This podcast,
So,
though, now it's time to end.
yeah, I think we should call it here. I'll be honest with you, I'm freaking hungry.
Oh God, yeah, it's like 9 o'clock. Go eat, dude.
Yeah. All right, folks, thanks for joining us for another bonus issue or bonus episode, bonus issue. Yeah, I'll be back next week for more DC books. And as always, in the Geek Matrix, you are not alone. In the Geek Matrix, I think I got it backwards actually. I think
Something like that.
I remember everybody has a home in the Geek Matrix. You were not alone.
There we go.
Something like that. Yeah.